done. No, we need you in frame, Stuart. No, they need to watch you watching the Watchers while they watch us.
Well, I'm just looking to see who's watching us.
What, down there below the clouds?
Yes, never thought I'd see the clouds from the other side.
Yeah, have you ever seen your computer from the other side? That'd be, yeah. It's like you should do your whole life just on the other side of your monitor.
Sure.
See how the other side live.
Could do that. So, guys, welcome back. We're here today to talk about another episode of TNG. And Season 3, Episode 4.
TNG. We're looking at TNG.
TNG. Who watches the Watchers?
Yes. Yeah.
Who watches the Watchers of this episode?
That joke will never get new.
Watched.
Enjoyed. Hi, Stuart.
I'm good. How are you doing?
Pretty good. Had a good productive day. Did some pretty elaborate Trek CGI, which you know, when you achieve it, you feel good about.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching an interview with one of the Picard VFX supervisors, and to watch him give non-answers is kind of funny. And then here I am making actual, like, stylistically Trek effect. It's just a bit funny.
Yeah, no kidding. Well...
Oh, yeah, apologies for my floofy hair. I finally washed it properly, and obviously it changes its look drastically. My hair goes floof.
Floof. That's a word now.
The floof effect. Well, it's been a word in England for a while. The floof effect.
Ah, the floof effect. Olivia Julius, though, is here, and she throws in $10, which is an awesome way to start. What did you do to the stream?
Sorry.
It's like, I'm big on screen, and then it's like, I should always be
I was
on screen.
I was on the wrong menu. Sorry.
Anyway, the great and powerful Picard is forever with us. He sees all, knows all, and is all merciful. May you be blessed by the Picard. # not my Riker beard. And he fertilizes your planet.
Wait, what? Oh, Stuart, we talked about...
# Picard fertilizers.
We talked about dirty language. That's going a bit far.
It's literally dirty language.
Well...
Anyway, thanks, Olivia. That's an awesome super chat. Great way to start out. So you're going to share this around?
Yeah, I can go straight into that. That's good.
That's a good segue from super chat to why they should super chat. Olivia is one of our regulars, and she's done a fantastic job of super chatting on a regular basis. So thank you very much, Olivia. And everyone else, if you guys want to super chat, as we say it all the time, it helps us out, helps you out. And if you know anything about this episode or want to chime in on something, by all means, send us a super chat. That way we will read it on the air and to have to talk about it. So it's a great way to help us out. Also, you head over to Patreon/Trekyards or join the channel, the rank of Commander, Captain, or Admiral. And lots of bonus goodies there as well. And just, get to feel like you're part of the team in the chat there. And I do like now how it shows, if I hover over the badge, how long you guys have been members for, which is great. I wish it showed which rank you were at. That would be helpful. But anyway, that's beside the point. Anyway, lots of ways to help us out. Check out our Teespring store. Lots of cool Trekyards merchandise, cool shirts, stuff like that. Other cool stuff. You know how it is. So the links for all that are in the description of every video we do. So if you're watching like one of our older videos, the links are still there. So just check them out, click them, see where they take you, enjoy the ride, have some fun. You know how it is. Jeff Jacobs is here. He's putting the Patreon link in the chat. And there's the Teesprings link. Yeah. We got some super chats, which is great. So good to see you guys, and thank you for helping us out. Hold on a second. Just 1 second. Hold on.
Hello, everybody. We're gonna talk about some TNG. Not TNT, but TNG.
We got some super chats, which is great. While I was talking about super chats, so I'm gonna read those. David Stelzer puts in $2.
Thank you.
That's my purse. I don't know you, Bobby Mintakin.
That's my purse. I don't know you.
Proto Vulcans have ridges. Joe puts in $2. The Prime Directives gives me a headache. Occasionally it will do that, yes.
Especially early on when they just ignore it in TNG Season 1. And I call them every time. It's like, come on.
You just ignore those, so it's fine.
Well, now we can because we passed them.
David Bessig, $5. Really love this episode and how it ties into the history of both the Romulans and the Vulcans. If you read into the backstories of the Vulcans here. Yeah, this is a good episode, which is a good lead into my kind of review of it.
Go for it.
I always remember this one as being one of my favorites. I'm into the, I love watching Ancient Aliens and thinking that, about the gods that are from different continents that all have kind of the same stories without these people actually having, unified things. It makes sense that there's like an ancient astronaut theory kind of thing. So this episode is fun for that fact that it's something like this could have happened, only, not the Federation, and they kind of messed with human history and stuff. So this is a great example of Star Trek and how things can go wrong pretty quickly, even though I would have just, again, I may not make him a good Starfleet captain because I would have just solved this problem like that, lickety split, no problem.
Torpedoes! Full spread!
No, all it takes, beam the bastard out. They see him beam out, a group of like 20 people at the most see it. They tell the little tale, it becomes legend, he just disappeared into the ether. So who cares? Just move on. I mean, it's not that hard of a problem to solve. People forget, stories get diluted over time. It's fine.
But have you forgotten about the Kelly, Stuart? The Kelly.
The Kelly. What's the Kelly?
Remember in Orville? Same exact story.
Oh.
As in another Prime Directive one.
Yeah.
The almighty Kelly has spoken. That was a great Orville.
I'd forgotten about that, but yeah, you're right.
That was a great Orville.
No, this is a good episode. Very Star Trek, and lots of great Picard moments in this one. The Picard.
Was it better this watch than your original memories? Because obviously we are analysing in a different way. I think we've found this out through multiple. We're in different mental states while watching these. What do you think?
It wasn't. Like I said, this is one of my favorites, so it's one I've seen a few times. And there's no real surprise.
Ships. Stuart, how can it be one of your favourites?
Hey, I'm not just about that. Come on now.
You're not a pretty ship lover.
Right. So anyway, I didn't really glean too much new out of this time around. I didn't take a lot of notes because it's kind of easy to sum up what's going on based on what's going on in the pictures.
Yeah.
I did take notes, obviously, but
yeah,
I don't know. This is just a fun episode, and it just the roundabout way they solve the problem just bugs me. It's so frustrating to watch. It's just like, at one point she even says, what can I do? I'll do anything for you to, not be angry at us. Give us Troy back.
I think we can get into that. I mean, we'll get into the slight plot things as we go, because yes, there are some.
Yeah.
Well, things.
Yes, that's what I say. I love this episode, and it'll be fun to talk about.
And
so
it's interesting because I had seen a few people in the chat, both I guess yesterday and Monday and before, saying they didn't like this one. So I was going with this, people had already expressed some dissatisfaction. So like, oh, okay, that'll be interesting,
Mm-hmm. All right, so we got some super chats, which we'll get into right now.
Awesome.
David Bessick, $5. Really love this episode. No, we read that one already. Never mind. David Stelzer, $2. Pam Bobby Hill Alden plays one of the Mentakans. That I did not know. Taurus 69. Okay. Taurus 69, $2. 49 likes, 71 watching. Hit the like button. Hashtag make Jeff pay. 94 watching now. So let's hit that like button, everybody.
And 99 on my screen. Thank you, Taurus. You sparked more people. And I'll click like too. Hey, I want to see 65 likes. Come on!
Do it.
Do it.
That was yesterday's episode.
May the 6th, so do it.
Yes. Let's see. Olivia Julius, $2. The Great Picard fertilizes us all. That sounds really awful.
I don't know if
from on high, he fertilizes the planet.
He sprays all across.
Moving on. Jeff Jacobs, $2. Got our 50 and under 15. Great start again at 100. Hashtag make Jeff pay.
Yeah, this one's going good.
We should easily get to 100 likes. David Bessig, $5.
Hey.
For your information, LOL. What I was getting at is I think it's widely accepted these were part of the group of Vulcans who fled to Romulus and got lost along the way.
I've never heard that.
It's an interesting theory, but they had space travel. And to get lost along the way and be at this stage of development because they're at the Bronze Age doesn't make any sense.
Well, they explicitly say they lived in caves several thousand years ago. So those spacefaring, I guess, warp capable Vulcans have to have crashed, all lost their memories, lost all the technology, gone back to being cave dwellers. No, I think I would more argue this links to the preservers and the what looks like the changeling lady, how they gave the entire galaxy, they seeded it, and so there's multiple evolutions. But besides, I've always liked the fact this is a simultaneous evolution story. There's so many planets, there's so many races that yes, some can be very similar. How many proto-Vulcans are less like Vulcans? How many? It's interesting. I prefer just the sense of the completely separate place. 2 million light years away. Proto-Vulcans that are 85%. It's interesting.
Look how many planets they run into where it's basically proto-humans, if you want to put it that way. So yeah, it's kind of great.
I'd feel cheated if it was just the Vulcans who fled.
Yeah.
I mean, what a cop out, honestly. And it doesn't add anything.
And it doesn't make any sense when you think about it, because they were spacefaring at the time.
Yeah.
And yeah, as they said, our ancestors lived in caves.
I mean, it would have been kind of cool if this was a two-parter. So the second half, they say we'll go to our friends in the East, and you go to friends in the East, and it's a full Vulcan-like science culture that have evolved, and it's like, wow, there's two. There's like the Morlocks and the time.
The Eloi.
There you go.
Eloi.
Thank you. Brilliant. Yeah. Two cultures. But that's a whole different. That's really a different story.
Yeah.
Sorry, David.
Sorry.
We love you, but sorry.
There, David. Speaking of David, I'll be messaging you soon because we need to set something up. And same with you, Olivia. Rise On Gaming puts in $20 Canadian, which is awesome. Thank you very much.
Boom.
Nice job with your show, guys. Really like the content. Thank you very much. We like providing the content for you, so thank you. And that super chat's fantastic, so thank you very much.
It's as good a thank you as you can do. No, we like to think that we give you guys some stuff to watch in the dark days, and especially live, you guys can chat to us and have a community. And it's, boys, isn't it nice to talk about positive Trek?
Yes,
it's lovely.
I was funny because right before we started this live, I didn't even get a chance to finish it. I was watching Steve Shives and his response video to some of his comments.
Right.
I just love how straightforward he is with the people. I kind of get like that sometimes on my Captain Foley lives too, but yeah.
Yeah, he's just not a very good debater. He's like, if you don't believe what I believe, then F off. It's like, well, okay.
The guy was making a nice comment, and at the end he said, and because you like Picard, even though this is worse than Discovery, you're part of the problem. So F you. He's like, well, F you too. Just his response to it was very well done. Anyway, I don't know why I mentioned that. Yeah.
Shout out,
Steve Shad. Eugene, 500 rubles.
He's awesome. Here from the start this time. I like it.
About time. I'm just kidding. The biggest peeve for me is how unprofessional watchers are. No backup generators, too close to the natives, single holographic shield without additional shield stealthing. Yeah.
I have thoughts. I just want to do my first review, so I need to...
one more. Okay. Double Guitars throws in €5. Offering for the Picard. Yes, offering for the Picard during this live would be greatly appreciated. He is here. He is right here. He is watching you. The Picard is here.
He's always with you.
Also with you.
I think at this point we both have like thousands of images of Patrick Stewart on our hard drives because of these screen caps. So he's always. Oh goodness! What has Stewart got? What cool Instead comes mixed old Bronze Age. No, it doesn't.
Look it's Picard. Hello. Hello, I'm the Picard. I will be supervising. All donations and offerings are appreciated. Sorry about that. I'll be right back. Samuel!
Yes?
Samuel, I made a mess.
This is why you really watch, isn't it?
I made a mess and knocked over a whole bunch of shit that I gotta fix later.
But
My OCD's screaming at me. I want to do it right now, but
the thing is, it was the Picard's will. You know?
He's teaching me a lesson.
Not to touch him ever.
Sorry. Why are you mad at me? What can I do to make it right?
You need to get at least another $50 in super chats, otherwise he will break more shit.
It's not on me, man.
Well, if we're funny enough. Anyway, my first reaction, Stuart. And thanks, guys. That was a great start. We really do appreciate it. So yeah, my memory of this, a lot of these ones, I guess, are in Encyclopedia. I've mentioned it a few times now, where little clips that I remember on the CD and the home PC is all you could play. And it's like, wow, this is physical media that we have. And it was Picard getting bowed. But, you know, arrowed in the chest. So that I remembered with you know, clairvoyant, like, oh my god, it's this moment, like flashbacks. But it's like, it's one of those episodes where you know the beginning, middle, and end, right? But that's not what it's about. It's about the subtlety of the dialogue.
This is the Picard's evil twin brother, the devil. Sorry.
That's true. That's good. I like that, actually. The fallen Picard.
Yes, the fallen Picard.
But do you know what I mean? The subtlety is actually in the episode, is in the rest of it. And I was actually kind of impressed by a lot of it. I was also underwhelmed by, yes, especially the anthropologists. They are just shockingly bad. I mean, there is so many moments where, I mean, they're the bottom of the barrel. Product placement. But you know what I mean? They are absolutely the worst. Seriously. But when you get to Picard dealing with this lady, it's a masterclass in writing, in acting by Patrick. He does a very, very good job. And it should be shown as a case study to like other sci-fi writers and other Trek writers, like to see this scene as like, this is Star Trek. You know? Done competently and properly. So it's definitely better than I thought, although I was very impressed by the makeup and costume and locations at the start. But I found by the end there were two. You could tell they only had like 3 angles on 3 bits of a location. That I thought was let them down a little bit. But by the end, but going in, you're like, it's fun to be outside. I think I was rooting for Riker and Troy to be in makeup. Although then I think when Troy just becomes a damsel in distress, you realize, she reads these cool lines and then just gets damsel in distress. She could have done more and should have done more. I thought it was gonna be a good Troy episode at that point. But obviously, when you put in 13 minutes to Picard's speeches, that burns a lot of the time for everyone else.
Yeah. The whole time I was thinking, too, with Troy, she had the ridge.
Yeah.
So I was like, I wonder if that's the same prosthetic mold they used for later when she was a Romulan.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
But it's so Star Trek, and this is very much, as well as I was going to say when you first started talking originally, this is the great what if, let's actually F up the Prime Directive, let's actually do it completely wrong, and how do we fix it? We've never done that before, at least in TNG, yet they've come close a few times. Let's do that entire we effed up as the story. It's interesting. It's really interesting.
Yeah. And for Christ's sakes, send a small science vessel that has 50 personnel to orbit the planet. If anything goes wrong, you got 4 or 5 people down in the duck blind. The other people are doing other stuff up in the ship. You should have backup parts and stuff on the ship. Where's their ship? How'd they get there? They get dropped off by a science vessel one day. We'll come back and check on you later. Like, I don't know. A few problems with that for me. No number 1 special though throws in $2.
Thank you.
Oh, great Picard, forgive the captain.
He does not know what he does.
He's over there scowling at me.
But I think this episode is a bit shy of being excellent, because it falls down in a few areas, but it has a lot of cool things. Oh, also one thing I think it does not do well is the chap who becomes all, religious-y, whatever, that chap. I think he repeats himself a bit too much. He has the same scene again, and then again. After the first scene with him, he has just the same scene again and again, until the end where he's about his wife. They don't give him any more depth, and I got not bored of him, but there was nothing new in those moments that there should have been if you want to actually give a really interesting you're giving him time, but you're not giving him anything. So that I thought was a shortcoming. So it kind of like it excels in some ways and then lets itself down in other ways at a certain point, but yeah.
And Diva 77X, if they had a science vessel in orbit, that could be mistaken for a god. Well, don't have it in geosynchronous orbit. Don't have it in standard orbit. Have it in equatorial or a polar orbit. That way it's hidden. It's fine. Land the ship somewhere on the planet where there's... I don't care. They should have support. Anyway.
Yeah.
Because if anything does go wrong, they got to wait for a ship to get there.
I mean, the planet isn't important enough to have a ship, but if runabouts exist at this point, this would be a runabout mission. Just like a little base,
sure.
150 miles away from the base, away from nearest people. And also you can... I mean, none of the population can get to you in one night by foot, by that that sort of distance to all like the top of a mountain, but you can still beam. That's what you would do. And then, you can easily make it a runabout. But hey, they learned, sort of.
Did they, though?
Well, Cloak's got better. Well, it became Cloak, not Hologram. Well, I guess they were Hologram. Well,
it's holographic, it's not Cloak, yeah.
Yeah, that was the get around the rules, wasn't it?
Yeah, holographic cover, essentially. Love how they call it duck blind, that's great.
Yeah, I got... I like the insurrection stuff with Duck Blind a lot. The first bit, I think it's really cool. So this was nice to kind of see the proto version, the TV budget version.
Yeah. It works fine though. It's a fun little episode. So let's get into it. Find out the Enterprise. It's on its way to Mintaka 3. There's a 3-man anthropological team there studying the Mintakans, and they reported that they're they need to repair their outpost because they have a malfunctioning reactor. We find out that it's 2.4 gigawatts of power. I don't know why I wrote that down. That must have been important. But it's the power. Oh, they were wondering why they need a reactor that powerful, and they're going through communications array, a few other things that Riker said, and then a holographic generator for the duck blind. Oh yeah, they're anthropologists. Makes sense. So we find out the Mintakans are proto-Vulcan humanoids at the Bronze Age level. And they're quite peaceful and highly rational.
Yep.
So they don't believe in gods anymore. They've long since, figured that out, which is good.
Well ahead of us.
Yeah.
3,000, 4,000, 5,000 years ahead of us, yeah.
So they contact them, and we find out that the reactor is now gone. They have about 3 hours of battery backup. And Data's like, if we increase our speed to warp 7, we can be there in 23 minutes. Cool. Do that. And then there's a huge explosion. And the duck blind dissolves essentially because there's no power to the reactor. And dude rolls out the window for some reason.
Somehow. I guess he just moved out. That bit never made sense to me.
But Picard's like, increase to warp 9. How long does that take to get you there?
Oh.
A minute? You got to do the exponential curve thing. I want to find out. Anyway.
So a bit of a weird opener.
Yeah.
I find it just funny that Geordi doesn't know. It's like he's been briefed. Would they not explain what the mission was? That'd be the first thing. Geordi, we're helping whatever it's called, Planet 2. They've got duck blind. Okay. The fact that and it's just for the audience, but it feels so stupid. Like, oh, that's what it's for. I mean, that could change what sort of kit you need. So that was stupid. Anyway, and yeah, the fact that they say we're going warp 6, we can go quicker. So why are they deliberately going slow when they're malfunctioning? Because if you're choosing to go at warp 5, say, and it's going to take an hour or 2 hours, you're choosing to get there late.
This is before the warp damaging subspace thing, which would have made sense.
Yeah.
But
because yeah, I mean, and then 7 to 9.3. I mean, they could have been there in seconds, in a sense. I mean, they're just wasting time, wasting everyone's time. I don't understand it. It's a very strange idea. It just felt so wasteful.
And Dan23 says, why is it called a duck blind? It's for hunters. They basically set up at the edge of the swamp, have reeds and stuff in front of them, so they're essentially camouflaged, hidden from the ducks. They can observe them, and then when they take off, they can shoot them. That's why it's called a duck blind.
Yeah.
So they're shooting Mentakins from the duck blind. Olivia Julius, $2. Oh, great Picard showing his mercy by going faster.
It's true.
It's true. It is true.
But yeah, it definitely just felt a bit weird. It obviously wasn't that much of an emergency.
Yeah.
But 23 minutes is a bit of a... Yeah, but I like his simple line of warp 9. So, okay. And yeah, I was wondering how they did the effect of the cave thing, because you see the exact same angle, you see the same effect like twice,
Mm-hmm.
that angle, but obviously they didn't actually put a thing in a mountain. I'm assuming it's a miniature, or is it a photoshopped bit? I don't know. I'm not really sure how they did it, because the way even the guy falls down, they could have just digitally put it in. I don't know what digital, but I mean, put it in.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure.
No, it looks very real. It looks like they're on set there. We've been to Vasquez Rocks, and I mean that looks really convincing. I was wondering the same thing myself. So kudos to them for doing that. I would like to find out how it was done, because that is really impressive. I would imagine it's just composited over. I don't understand the.
It's good though. I mean the lighting's good. Well, it depends. Is it easier to fully composite when you don't know how many angles you're gonna do? Or is it easier to like find a cave and then build like 2 set pieces and then digitally just Photoshop over, like cloning parts of the thing? I don't know which one's easier, honestly. Because like I said, the way the guy falls down, it could be either. There's no, and there's a really funny moment later on where the dude pops his head. There's no integration between that set and the rest of it. They're very clever at not showing that difference. Like one is one piece, one is another. There's nothing in between. But yeah, there's no door here, so I guess the guy got the window, climbed out of the window, fell onto hard rock, and then fell down hard rock.
Well, I think he got blasted and then rolled out the window to maybe get away from the...
I don't know, it's there. No, in the explosion shot it is actually. Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Wow, that is really subtle.
Yeah.
He captured it well.
But there's the explosion, and then there's like smoke, and then it's like gonna roll out the window.
It's very TOS. Like it's very arena,
Yeah, he's just trying to get away, I guess. But it's fine. It's what it is.
But I do like the interior set though. It's clearly not a well-funded mission.
Yeah.
But I do like it in concept.
Yeah. Not a band account puts in $2. Why are the Proto-Vulcans nearby Raffi's trailer? Yeah, it's a good question. They're probably like hitting her up for snake leaf oil and stuff when they're on their downtime. Oh God, I wish they wouldn't have put her at Vasquez Rocks. That's going to keep coming up.
Yeah. And then you got introduce these 2 people. Dude that's in so much Trek, and lady who you said is that later actress with, I thought, good costumes.
Mm-hmm. And she's on her way to do the sundial thing. It's like it's an important task.
I think it's just to show they like sciencey stuff. That's science.
Yeah. And your mother would be proud. You have to put that in there because your mother's dead. It's important later.
Yeah.
So
I like the little set construction thing here. It's nice. It looks good. It works.
Yeah, and I tried to catch the flashing of the light that she sees, but I just kind of caught like the tail end of it there. She sees something like flash in the distance, and that's the classic Vasquez Rocks thing, which the flash, I don't know where that would be coming from because it doesn't relate to the duck blind at all, but that's okay. So they're like, what's that, Father? I don't know. We'll go check it out.
And it's amazing that universal translators are working even with the audience that have no communicators nearby.
Hey, it's fine.
Yeah.
And then Beverly's taking care of the wounded, and Riker and Geordi are using a barbecue lighter, and they're trying to fix the reactor power supply. And I love how Geordi's like so gingerly like Oh yeah, get that out of there. Data powers up the holographic thing, says it's back online. We just need the power now.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're both climbing up to see what's going on. Exciting stuff. That's a great shot of the duck blind, by the way. Put in those rocks.
Well,
you can see there's a line. There's a very straight line on the right hand side. Looks a little too straight.
It could be a miniature. Like, it could literally be it could be multiple different things. I really don't know. Because they could have just built just that bit and then put it in and then colored it.
Well, it looks great. They did a fantastic job.
But the question is, when the guy goes up to it, now that piece is definitely there. That, when he goes up to it, that's definitely there. But that could just be a shell, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And that's such a different angle, it could be anything. But I love when he puts his head in. It's so comical. It's just so comical. Well, and that's obviously a matte painting. That's like...
Yeah.
It's not even lit the same. It just looks so funny. And it's such a small window. Like, you'd feel like have a bigger window. And also, it changes the scale of what you think the other piece is. It definitely looks a lot bigger, and then it suddenly is really not. But again, they didn't need to build the full thing on set, I guess.
Yeah, and I got to give them credit for the set design here too. Like the monitors above the window, the little scanner thing that's pointing out, doing the sensors scanning, whatever. I think it's really well done.
They added texture,
which
is important for this sort of very, very unique thing. You know.
Yeah. They see. Well, he sees Dr. Crusher, or no, the other doctor beam out with the wounded guy, and then Data turns around and sees him. Commander.
He looks just so fun.
Well, I've got to mention too that because of the explosion, everything's electrified, which is important. So, dude goes to move. He touches the side and gets zapped.
And that has a big fall.
Yeah. On his back, no less.
Yeah.
Olivia Julius, $5. What do they do after the mission? Is there suddenly a cave that appears out of nowhere one day? They would fix it, I would assume. That's the other thing that concerns me is how they constructed this. They would have had the holographic display up, carved out the cave, like the Starfleet Corps of Engineers tunneled this thing out. Because I'm sure there's like different levels to it, like where they eat and sleep and live.
Yeah. Well, the generator, that's going to be pretty big.
Yeah, and getting all that stuff in there, beam it out with the ship, beam out the rocks to create I don't know how they would do it, but just the building of this would be fantastic to learn about, because it's close enough to their village. You know, it's not like it's in the middle of nowhere.
That was the biggest mistake, having it be right there. It should have been further. You can find any reason to have them, walk out of town. To have it right there seemed a bit odd. I guess you're watching them, but unless you're literally looking over their houses, in which case you're obviously too close for comfort.
I get the feeling that it's up high enough that the scanner thing that's hanging out the window or pointing out is being able to monitor the village, and this is like a main pathway that leads them from the village to the water hole and the hunting grounds or whatever.
I could see that. Path well travelled.
Exactly, yeah. Main thoroughfare.
But I can imagine that they would wait until night time and then either beams would peel down with phasers, rock mining lasers. I don't know if I'd trust beaming rock out like that. I felt that'd be a bit too. I don't know.
It makes sense though. Just lock onto like the cavities you want and beam them from there out into space or dissipate them. It'd be a good way to hollow out a large area really quickly, and then beam in the equipment you need and install it with the. I don't know.
I guess my gut says that's not practical. For whatever reason, my gut says that's too much. That's too
easy almost.
Well, yeah. I prefer just having phasers or mining lasers that just basically it's similar things. And I'm sure there's a way of dampening sound. There shouldn't be the end. Sound is just vibration. So you put an anti-vibration thing. You do it during the night. You either do a holographic shield or you do a sound dampening, and you can just tunnel into it naturally. And then once you're inside, you can do whatever you want. But yeah, I'm kind of surprised we never saw more of these. It would have been such an obvious way of having stories within stories.
Yeah. Ozzy Medeiros though throws in $5.
Hey.
And I'll give you 3 guesses what he says.
He loves Squanocockings.
No, no one loves Commander Cochrane, so he didn't say that.
That's
But he
right.
does love something. He loves skeleton. So anyway, thank you for the super chat, Ozzy. Yeah, so the daughter buggers off because Beverly comes jumping out, and I guess without authorization, beams him up, which I love later. It's kind of like we'll get to that scene.
But I mean, she has, she can override Picard in many matters. I mean, she has medical authority, so this is certainly within her realm. But it is very ballsy of her, I guess.
Yeah.
But it is weird that she didn't even like check the surroundings. She's so focused on the medical that she doesn't look at anything else.
Yeah.
But hey ho.
Well, then we get Geordi. He's actually replaced the power thing now, so zoom, she fires back on, and again, that looks really great.
I mean, but you can kind of see maybe it's like a Photoshop of the continuing, but the lighting is so good. But it is also such a square. It could just be, a model and put in. I feel like it always looked that good. I mean, I might have to go back to the original. That might be interesting. See if it looks worse, because they would have been able to refine the lines.
No, I think it looked good in the original too. But yeah, go check.
Okay.
While you're doing that, we got a super chat from Ellie Ferris.
Oh, thank you.
Of $39 Australian.
Oh, cool.
Which is amazing. Thank you.
Don't know if I recognize the name, so thanks so much.
No, it's a new name for sure.
Oh, well, that's like $40.
Yeah.
And it says, hey guys. Actual $40.
Hey guys, didn't want to say anything, just supporting the channel. Well, thank you. That means a lot. Please speak up. Let us know your thoughts. But thank you very much. The support is very much appreciated. So.
Wait, hold on. Oh, okay. Hold on.
And Ozzy Medeiros, $5. Yes, love the commander, aka the governor. So he does love you.
That's $25, actual American.
Nice.
That's awesome. Thank you, Ali. That's really, really nice of you. That sort of support helps us do more. And thanks, Ozzy. Appreciate it. Also, that's a nice reason to stop me from looking at other stuff. But let's.
Did you find the other one?
Well, I talked to you for a second, didn't I? Let me go to the next frame. Oh yeah, wasn't it weird that she then walks up and tries to touch the rock, so she just saw her dad probably die and beam away, and then that shows how, I guess, naive she is, because it's very like.
Well, when you see something like that and then it disappears, you'd want to go see. And I love how she actually physically touches the rocks, because this is a hologram, which is great.
Yeah, that was nice.
It's not like a cloaking device where she might just actually pass through it. That's great. Yeah.
But also, if that's the same rock face, and the rock face is clearly solid, like they clearly didn't tunnel into it, because the rock face would be different. And I'm looking at this, and the way it fades looks to me as if it's a miniature that they're able to frame up exactly, because the fade's a little bit less good. Like it's so good though.
In Jersey, $5 Canadian. Here are some things to make you go, thank you.
They will legit make us go, or at least not go anywhere.
We'll always be here for you.
The Trekyards will be with you.
And also with you.
No, always.
Oh.
Come on, it was obvious.
No, it wasn't.
Okay, here's the original version, and boy, the color grade is very, very different. The rocks are bright yellow in the original.
It does look better in the remastered.
Yeah, it looks cleaner. The right side is more. The line is way more solid in the remastered. But it still looks so good.
Well, they color graded it to what it would look like on Earth for the remastered. I love that it's kind of more yellowy because it's a different planet, different sun. They do that a lot with the color grading on planets to make it look a little bit different. So I don't know how I feel about that change necessarily. I do like the way it looks in the remastered, but
the fact is we both just felt Vasquez rocks. Like there was no sort of vibe there. What I think they've done is they've made a miniature, and I think I can see the seam lines now, where they built like the top around the side and then really carefully feathered. That's why it's always on tripod. They feathered it around very carefully because it's in shadow, so the lighting doesn't quite match. It's just sort of like bright. But anyway,
we have a $5 PayPal from FS Subaru
cool name.
Solutions, which I think is Fleet Paws, but I'm not sure. Anyway, I always enjoyed this episode. It was a wonderful chance to watch them just be explorers. Yeah, this is a fun episode to watch. I really enjoy it. So.
And Dan23 says he's confused if we're using the original or remastered. Always remastered.
We're always using the remastered.
This is in high def.
And every now and then we'll want to compare to the original just to see what was changed. Because some things are very subtle, other things are quite obvious.
So it's pretty blatant when we do. I mean,
yeah.
we tell you and explain. I mean, guys, it's pretty obvious. I mean, it's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
Yes, on to sickbay, and we get some acting from everyone.
Yes, and Picard comes walking in and sees what's going on, and he's like, "So what's this, Doctor?" Well, yeah, he's gonna die. Well, why didn't you let him die? Because we're responsible for his injuries. Well, I mean, it's done now, I guess.
Well, no, he says, I might dispute that. Like, I wouldn't necessarily agree with that, Doctor.
Yep,
Ooh.
yep. But then it comes to the, well, we have to erase his memory of all of this. And she's like, yeah, by erasing short-term recall.
Yes, Doctor. That's why I said you should do it. I know
and
it's
then,
audience, but it's like, yes, Doctor.
But then the vibe between them is like, he's like, can you do this kind of look? And she's like, yes, I'm aware of Dr. Pulaski's technique. It's like, whoa. Because they just did it, like, for pen pals.
Yes, you know? That's what it was. Yep.
But yeah, just the way she said that, yes, I'm aware of Dr. Pulaski's technique.
Yep.
However, I'm concerned that his brain level things will be different, whatever. But Picard says, well, Doctor, your next task is clear.
Picard in this has so much command strength. It's almost hard to watch in a sense because you don't want to be like slapped down by the captain. Do you know what I mean? He's like, he is in, Doctor.
You just turn this simple mission into a clusterfuck. Good job. Now I have to deal with it.
Yeah. But the thing is, both are right as well. It's purely perspective, depending who was there. Like if Worf was there, he wouldn't. But this is why I have started to have a problem with this in terms of the memory wipe thing, right? They say it's probably going to be fine. It doesn't go well. They never try again.
Yeah.
And we'll get into that in a little bit, but there's a bit of a huge flaw there.
Yeah.
Which I want to go into. A mini rant about, because I have a rant about that. Ready to go.
Of course you do. I'm sure his physiology would be very similar to Vulcans or Romulans, and so they would have files about the brain chemistry and all that jazz. So I assume she tried her best. It didn't take, and I don't know. But yeah, we'll get there.
But then
we should point out too that the oh no go ahead.
No.
This is something completely unrelated.
Oh, it's
his
fine.
His name is Liko, and his daughter's name is OG.
Liko, no!
She's the OG, the original gangsta Vulcan.
Gangsta proto-Vulcan, bitch!
Proto-Vulcan, yeah.
No. Proto-Vulcan, bitch!
West side.
Northerner, bitch! I got them ridges!
Check out them ridges, I'm stubborn. Thick-headed.
Married to that Tal Shia, bitch. I get pushed around because I'm a bitch too. Anyway, so the guy wakes up.
I love how they have like a haze filter because he's, and so it affects the lighting. Worf messages Picard and who's standing right by him. And, I mean, it's very ethereal and godlike. So, I mean, I love the way this is filmed.
Yeah,
it's
nice.
Pretty good.
It's not too much, but it's obvious. As in, it's not literally halo around. Like it's close, but it's not literally halo around his head. Oh,
yeah.
Like it's a unique style, and it's cool. It's very cool.
Yeah, and this is where after she puts him out, this is where he says, "Doctor, I think your next task is clear," and he walks away. And the look she gives him, he's like, "Excuse me."
I came back because you begged me. JL, don't call me that. Oh, I'll call you that.
No one will ever call me JL. It's so disrespectful.
I'll burn down the Roman Empire before that happens. What? Yeah, and then this shot right after is that?
Oh, sorry. Eli Ferris was the super chat. I said Ellie. Ellie's a girl's name. He's a guy. So Eli. Sorry, my bad.
Sorry,
eh?
Sorry.
I'm just a hoser.
Sorry,
eh?
man.
Canadian.
But thank you.
Yeah, sorry. Didn't mean to insult anybody, but thank you for.
There's no context sometimes to these things.
Yeah.
Is this model shot a new model shot? Because I feel like the way it's lit and composed a little bit.
I would think so.
I think it's the first time we've seen that shot.
Looks really good.
Yeah.
Looks really good.
Yeah. So they boom him down. I guess they beamed him
into the sun. The other side has shade. Let's beam him into the sun. So if he doesn't wake up for 5 hours, he's gonna have like a massive sunburn. And how long did this take? Because OG is still here wandering around, coming down the mountain. She'll be coming around the mountain when she comes. It's like she just went up to feel the rock, and is now on her way down.
Yep.
So there's no real sense of how much time has passed, even though it's at least been 10 minutes. At least.
The editing here lets it down.
Because we don't know the timing. Yeah.
No, it implies all the wrong things. No, for sure. No, I wish they, yeah. I can imagine she'd just be, like, looking around a bit, but, I mean, I was visualizing maybe an hour. Depends how bad his injuries were, but, I don't know. It's tricky. But yes, the reveal is... No. He remembers everything.
Yes, and he starts telling her all this crap. Not a banned account puts in $2.
Thank you.
How would Michael Burnham have done the observing? She would have used her god powers and hovered above the village. Maybe. I don't know. And Jersey is talking to Jeff Jacobs. LOL. Hey, you'd be better off than in Captain Foley's basement. At least I'd provide daily coffee and donuts. I'm betting he doesn't give you much better than potatoes and dog food. Hey, now, we take care of our admins here. If he was in my basement, I would give him donuts. Tim Hortons donuts poutine. And coffee every day. And poutine. Absolutely.
And grape soda or something. That's very American. Okay, so let's talk about memory wipe thing for a second.
Go for it.
I'm fine with it failing once, and it's a fine thing, right? My problem is that you guys are really good at what you do, and as you said, they've got Vulcans on record, but also got Vulcans in the crew who you can probably test on. I'm sure they'd volunteer losing like 6 hours of duty shift, whatever. This is the prime directive, not a partial. And you see how Picard reacts later on. This is solemn, beyond solemn. It feels so bad storytelling to me that once they work out this has failed, you would obviously say, okay, that failed. How many people know? 9. Okay, we'll beam them all up, keep them sedated, keep testing until they get memory wiped, then put them back. Solved. I see no reason for the story to take place beyond this point once they know. I guess it's a few scenes later. But they would be able to make that work. To leave them memories at the end is absolutely ridiculous. And of course you can make it work. They're only Vulcans with a little bit of difference. I don't understand that. It should be that easy, and so few people see them.
We're not sure how much physical differences there are between the two. Like they're essentially from a different planet. So
yeah.
Even though they're similar, there could be quite a few differences. Now, my solution as a captain in this case, because it didn't work, I would re-beam him up and then re-beam him down 10 feet from the ground so he lands on his back and gets the same injuries and just dies anyway. Problem solved.
Well,
he doesn't remember squat.
That's a TOS captain approach. Let them die.
Oh, well, I am a TOS captain.
Sorry?
So.
But do you know what I mean? Like, they're good doctors, and I mean, how many times did the EMH manage to do a memory wipe from aliens that they've only met that day?
Well, by then it's perfected, I guess.
But would you agree with me that would be the obvious next step, is to beam them all up and memory wipe them all?
No, you're starting to get in starting to make it worse then if you're beaming other ones up. That's the only problem I
It's
see
only one
there.
small encampment. I mean, but it's clearly worse to leave them with memories and give one a full tour of the ship. Now knows the future possibility, because they could also, like we see later on with Worf and his brother, beam them up to the holodeck. Keep
Oh, you
them
mean
there.
afterwards? I thought you meant at this point.
No, no,
Start
no,
beaming people up to test
no,
on them.
no. Once Riker and Troy get found, like
Yeah, okay.
no, like there's only 10
That
of
makes
them.
sense.
Sorry, yeah. Like beam them to the holodeck. Just rebuild Vasquez rocks. Have Raffi there, be the tour guide, and it just feels like it's such a non. They don't even bother trying. If all they had to say was Crusher saying, even if I had 6 months, I couldn't work this out. Their chemistry is so unique, and they can't like kidnap people for 6 months. Give me that time buffer, otherwise you break the story that straight away. Because I have no possible way of explaining. Of course, they unassimilate Locutus Picard. Of course, they can memory wipe a mostly Vulcan. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, I love how he says to his daughter, "Long ago, our people believed in great beings," and I skipped over that part before you went on your rant there, but yeah, I don't know. I think I mentioned it before, either in Voyager or whatever, that some species it's a lot more difficult to do, which fair enough. So I don't know. It seems like it's a new technique developed by Pulaski for that particular instance, and since then they've kind of started developing it.
Wasn't there one in TOS and an XO1 era? I could have sworn they've done memory wipes in both those shows.
Oh, probably, but it just the way she says,
Well,
I'm familiar with Pulaski's techniques. It's like it's her thing, you know.
yeah, the way Picard talks it down to the Doctor sounds as if it's new. No, I understand. Yeah. But I do. This, I mean, it's still a good point in the episode. It's just could have been better with the other.
Number one special puts in $2. Would a memory wipe even work on a Vulcan? Well,
yes.
Obviously not.
Well, no, it did. It did with Tuvok, mostly.
Well, yes.
I mean, it's just memory engrams. I mean, it's not the end of the world.
Jeff Jacobs, $2, 103 likes, on the road to 150. Hashtag watching the likers. Sweet.
And we are watching you watch the likers.
Red 2001 SS.
Cool.
$6.
Hey.
Mind wiping, testing till the whole village are vegetables. Yeah, pretty much. Just nuke the site from orbit. It's the only way to be certain.
I mean, that's true, but again, it's worth vegetabling one guy to save the entire evolutionary development of one culture. Because they abandoned that. I mean, Picard, at the end of this...
The many outweigh the needs of the few.
I mean, seriously, at the end of this, Picard should be, like, have some serious talking off. You know, he has a strike on his record now for this. They've effed up royally. Like, they broke the Prime Directive and ruined a culture. Like, that's a full mark of you failed. Like, he should be, you know...
Well, he has a place to retire to in later years. He should go back at season 2 of Picard. Hey, remember me? I'm the Picard. I want you to build me a temple and bring me offerings, and I want to live in peace.
No, by that point they've already got to Planehaths. It's like, oh my god, they've evolved. And then some other ones have to leave this planet and go to another planet. They create new Romulus. It's very confusing. It just keeps cycling back.
Yeah. Anyway, we get in the conference room, the briefing room, and we find out Palmer is still missing. Mm-hmm. He might have stumbled into a cave in his delirium, and of course, with the structure of the rocks, the sensors can't locate him in that case. So they'd have to send people down to look. Our rescue attempts must not interfere with the Mintakans. So I have an idea, says Riker. It's a very, yeah.
And I do kind of like this. You don't know where the plot's going, and this is all a red herring about the guy. I like that, actually. It twists a bit. I just wish we'd set him up at the start. Because he's the guy you didn't notice that fell out the window, you didn't notice that fell down, it should have been the old guy. I know it's a small thing, but you really don't care about this random guy.
Yeah.
But yes, they beam down, and I love their costume choice. I love the makeup. Mm-hmm. Really well done, and I'm sure they had a lot of fun. little bit obnoxious being the exact same like Vasquez rocks again. Like they shouldn't have. I get why, but this one felt a bit like okay, yeah,
But this is the thing that bothers me here. They have subcutaneous communicators installed so that nobody else could hear what's going on. Don't you think that'd be something that would just be standard in Starfleet personnel?
I mean, you've seen Picard. Beep. Yes, Rafi.
Yeah, exactly.
30 years.
Because how many times is this computer locate so and so? They're in their quarters. No, they're comm badges. I know you don't want to get tagged necessarily as a person, but if you're a Starfleet officer, it should be anyway.
Well, they can hear what Troy is listening to, so very, very useful. My only conceit to that, and I appreciate the details, that when you hear data, it's an audibly less quality transmission.
Yes, it sounds muffled.
So I appreciate that it is a worse signal, and I'm sure the range is worse. Whatever that means. I mean, come on, it's from space. What does that even mean? Would have been kind of nice if they'd said, because they have short range, we're using the duck blind outpost as a relay signal because they haven't enough power. Again, adding information in. But I agree. They throw it in like it's nothing. That's a big deal. I'm sure there's other episodes that would have been useful too.
Yeah.
But I love this scene of them just chatting. It makes you think Troy's gonna be important. It kind of isn't, but. Yeah. I like what these two do as a couple, basically. It's fun.
We find out the women precede their mates. Basically, it's telling everyone else, if you want his services, I'm the one you have to negotiate with.
Services?
And Riker's like, what kind of services? All kinds. They are a sensible race.
And that doesn't feel out of place. That feels like a totally fun way of them doing it.
Yeah.
All credit for that. It was very well done.
And Brian Strait, that's awesome. $20 donation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brian.
Riker seems into the material or the matriarchal femdom society when Troy mentions it. Who knew he had that kink in him? It's Riker, of course.
I mean, season 1 in the robe.
With his Angel 1.
I mean, that did happen. There is some slight precedents. And come on, if you you know,
likes to be told.
Yeah, and even with Loxana a little bit, you know, a smidge. I actually think he is a little bit. Yeah.
Fleet Pop Swiftback puts in $2. Riker's pants in this scene.
Well, he means trousers, obviously.
Well,
really, they're shorts. Bright green shorts. I hope he was happy with his costume. It was a great costume.
And Steve Russell joined the channel at the rank of Commander. Welcome, Commander. Thank you for joining the Trekyards team. We appreciate that. 154 people watching, by the way, which is awesome. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Let's get the likes up.
Yeah, how many
make Jeff happy.
Only 109. Oh, come on, 120. Come on, 120.
Easily we can go 120.
But they walk over to this other set piece, which is the only other set piece, which I liked until it became too used. But I like it. It's a nice, gentle thing. And then you get a really nice internal set.
Yeah.
Like, it's a... Wow, this season jumped the budget for alien landscapes a ton. Like last week with the fountain one. Like, yes, they reused them, but this is a legitimate... Oh, we're on a planet with people. It's cool.
Yeah. But they're talking about... they're hearing his story and talk about the Overseer. I have seen the Overseer. He's called the Picard. And then Troy and Riker come in and say, we're looking to trade some things.
They rudely
you had a very interesting... Yeah.
I thought it was really
you had a very interesting dream.
Yeah.
Which, try to divert. I mean, it's great. I love how nobody else really believes him, even the leader, the lady.
Yeah.
And very quickly it turns.
Yep.
Because Palmer shows up.
Yep.
And of course he's a round ear. Those round ears.
I mean, it is interesting. Clearly, what I like about this setup is that it's not about the God thing. Even though that's a little bit too much about it. It's about the chap thinks, I was brought back from the dead, therefore my wife can. That's all it's about. That's it. And he's pushing that as far as he can because he thinks that if he can get them all to believe, then it'll be true. So it's a very good level. That only sort of revealed near the end, and I wish it was more the focus, But I like how they're saying, yeah, this is, we used to, every scene he asks the older guy, but there are stories, right? And there are stories. It's like, yeah, there's lots of stories about everything. What do you want from us? 1,000 years ago, we had stories. There were stories that a penis, there's 2 of them, and they had ridges. No, that was a bad dream. No, that never happened. Klingons. Terrible.
Jarzia, $2. Riker, Captain, I protest. I am not a logical man. Eugene, 500 rubles.
Eugene.
Thank you. Praised be the Picard for his mercy. More rational Captain, cough, Janeway, cough, would have beamed the scientist away and dropped a photon torpedo on his helmet. This would be much less interference. Yeah, I would have just beamed the bastard out. Who cares? They see him dissolve. They have questions for a little while. The story dilutes itself over the... Who gives a shit? Honestly, just do it. And he's not going to be watched all the time. People are going to be sleeping. There'll be one person that sees him beam out. I know he's injured. You got to get him out quickly. But still.
Well, like I said, beam the entire encampment up. All 12 people. It's easier,
Or just the people around him.
Yeah.
And then in the room, you could 2 or 3 people with him, beam them all up. And
but I do appreciate that you're right. That the tides of dialogue are that he's just hallucinating until the guy shows up. So I like that they are, there's no proof. I mean, people can say whatever they want. But obviously, this guy is too much of proof that something's going on, and all we have is one guy giving evidence.
Well, who is it here? Serge Eloy. Why doesn't the old guy have ridges? Well, he might, but his hair covers it. Plus, he's just from a different region. He's an old guy who moved here ridges. 30 years ago.
He does have some. They're just
he's not. He's from the south. Yeah. He's a southerner.
Yeah. Well, these are. They're. You can barely even see the Vulcanids. These are subtler. They're more. Yeah, they're more varied in appearance in general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then they determine, well, by keeping Palmer safe, we will earn favors from the Picard. Maybe he'll bring back the dead.
But they obviously tell Picard, though, and this is the scene I have one of the biggest problems with, and I really, out loud I was like, what the hell? They tell Picard, they know. Okay. And it's about the Picard. And the anthropologist guy, who is the worst possible guy,
says, you must go down and tell them what we want.
I didn't hear that bit.
No, he said that. He says, you must go down and tell them what we want. Because they already know that you're the Picard. And Picard says, I cannot. I will not.
Yeah, well, that's not what I'm referring to specifically. Is that he says, we need to get my friend out. And because that will be even more turbulence and stuff. And he said, small price to pay to save Palmer's life. So it's a small price to pay to alert a civilization to your presence even more. You're the anthropologist in charge of this mission, and you feel that way? What a tone. It's like a captain, saying, oh, let's just kill them. But they're only traders. Kill them. No, he is the worst cast and worst written anthropologist I've ever seen. He makes no sense. I really hate this guy.
And the fact he tells Picard that he has to go down. You got to go down and confront them. You got to tell them what we want.
He's an anthropologist.
Right, I know.
You don't do that. Rule 1. Everything he says is wrong. But just the fact that he says good price to pay for your friend's life. And then Picard has to spell out to the anthropologist who was in charge of a duck-blind mission that no, sometimes the Prime Directive, you have to sacrifice your own life for the Prime Directive. This guy's whole life is about this. Why'd you have to just spell that out to him? What a stupid scene and stupid dialogue. It's violence, I know, but I hate it so much.
Well, it makes sense, because his friend that he's got close to is just... And maybe he's not thinking rationally right now, because he's upset. Who knows? Anyway.
He's Starfleet, though, and just... The
interesting thing is that they want to make Picard happy, so perhaps we should punish...
Mm-hmm.
That's a problem with a god. which is brought up later. You're not sure exactly what they want.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, we find out that Nuria is the leader. She'll listen to reason.
What?
Am I back? Am I back? Yes, I'm back. Okay.
You're actually there the entire time.
My signal's still garbage. You're frozen on my screen. So
Oh, sorry. Well, you're crystal clear of mine, although you just took your own video off. Now he's gone. Oh, dear. Paul knew what he was getting to. Should have swallowed the yellow pill as soon as he was conscious. Go back and ask Kevin Uxbridge to find them out. That's funny. I'm so glad they fixed Picard's hair.
I didn't turn my video off.
Well, now you're back. Yeah, you were fine. All I saw was you going like awkwardly for like 30 seconds. But now you're back. Hello, return. You've returned.
Well, you were frozen. I couldn't hear anything. The broadcast was frozen. Then it said connection lost. So I'm sitting there going, I'm just going to wait till... Anyway, so we find out Nori is the leader. She'll listen to reason. So Picard's idea is to just bring her up and explain things to her. I love how they're poking at Palmer, looking at his ears.
I love Patrick.
And he's covered in gray paint for some reason.
Yeah.
It just... Whatever.
He's such a non-thing in this episode. Like, he's unconscious later, but clearly walks up with Riker.
Yeah.
It's really... There's some little shortcomings in this episode that are really, like, dumb. He's gone again. But, I really like Patrick's acting, where he says, well, we have to beam her up. He's so confident in the fact that it has to be done, but he's so, like... What's the right word? He hates the fact that he has to. But he has to make that choice and makes it instantly because it's the greater good sort of thing. But he has, like, I hate today.
Well,
it's really good acting.
Before that, though, they say, oh, we saw somebody else. We got to go.
Yeah.
And Troy leads the way for some reason. I don't know why she doesn't stay behind.
Yeah.
But they all take off. Leaves just Riker and the old guy. And Riker, takes advantage of it, ties the old guy up, whatever. He should have knocked him out, honestly. I know he's old. But knock him out and beam away. Simple. And for God's sakes, Troy, don't lead them out. It was perfect. It was a perfect situation. Even just beam them up with the old guy there. Beam them both up. The old guy's not always looking at you in your direction, first of all. Second of all, he's freaking old. Might have Alzheimer's. Might have dementia. Who's going to believe an old guy? Plus, he's not going to live long to tell very many people the story. Anyway, I don't know. It's interesting. And then OG comes back and
sundial.
sees... Yeah, to check the sundial again. Because she can't miss that. Because she's got a... Anyway.
Plot.
And then Riker's taken off with Palmer, and she yells, and everybody comes running back. And this is actually cool, where the archers are gonna bobbing and weaving behind rocks. Interesting little chase scene, I gotta say. And then the beam out is really cool, because just as the beam out effect is still there, the guy comes up, but he doesn't look in there instantly. He's looking around. I think that's really well done. That's a really cool scene. And yeah, so.
Well, there are definitely problems when this either feels like a padding or we need to get to the next beat. Because Troy wouldn't go with them. A, but B, even though this is the most important thing in the world to them, they're walking very casually. Like, there's no real sense of urgency, even though you'd think, capture the guy, go!
All I hear is, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh. Yeah. It looks like a Dungeons and Dragons raid team. Like, seriously.
Or the LARPing. It's like a LARP team.
Yeah.
But it's very weird contextually. And also, they're taking everybody and leaving the guy with the least physical strength to keep hold of the prisoner.
Mm-hmm. Well, the prisoner was unconscious, to be fair. And Riker stays behind. Let's leave the stranger that just arrived and the old guy.
With the least physical... It's dumb. It's really dumb.
But it was the perfect opportunity. Riker just had to do a Kirk chop to the back of the guy's neck, knock him out for a couple minutes, beam up. The guy wakes up. They're gone. No idea if they ran away. Whatever. But Troy should have stayed, because then they all could have beamed up. There. Episode done. Good. Solved. Sweet.
Yeah, or even if we're a little bit close to what actually happened, as soon as he ties him up, you go up to the top and beam out before you go outside.
Yep.
Why?
Why even go up to the top?
Yeah, why is he running away with the guy? There's literally no reason at all. You're out of earshot, you're out of vision shot. There's no reason, and the guy's clearly helping him because he's holding a banister, so he's obviously not unconscious.
Yeah.
It's a really poorly thought out scene just to pad the time, and it does not work at all. And I don't like the fact that she's yelling as if they can hear her. Like,
Yeah.
they've going away several minutes, and then get back in. No, the whole scene breaks down thoroughly because at any point where I could beam him away, he knows better, but in this he doesn't.
Mm.
Just bad. No sense.
But they beam up and into sickbay, and dude Palmer is like laying flat, even though he was kind of like pushed into a hole. Not a problem. The transporter can do that kind of thing. It's fine. And yeah, we find out Troy's left behind. And then, yeah, this is where we get maybe we should punish her. Maybe that's what the Picard wants. Palmer and Riker are gone. And so this expedites the whole we need to get her aboard anyway conversation. So it's,
But I was shocked how passive Troy becomes now.
Oh, I know, right?
She has a ridiculously small amount of line.
All she has to do is ask to go to the washroom and then beam up. That's what I kept thinking the whole time.
That's interesting.
I need to go take a piss. Are you going to watch me? Okay, fine. Watch me. I don't care.
That's interesting.
But at least give it a shot.
Oh, that's actually really interesting. No, I like that a lot, actually. Or why isn't she trying to... I mean, she can sense emotions. Why can't she just try and talk to her? Like, she's not even trying to negotiate her way out. Or bargain or anything. It's a very bizarre non-scene. If I was Marina, I'd be like, oh, they just didn't care about me. It's like Narek in Picard. Oh, he just disappears. It's like, oh, Troy becomes nothing. It's like, oh, well, okay.
Yeah.
Not good. Let themselves down there. But the lady does show, though, that he says we should kill her, punish her, and the smart lady's like, nope, because I need evidence, I need thought. Stop.
Yep.
Stop with this religion shit. It's not worth it. Calm down. You're still here, Stuart. And now he's gone. Take a leak, you mean? Yes. Exactly. Even if they can't see him beaming, the stop makes a noise. Even Enterprise brought that up. Well, it doesn't. Last week, they beamed about 4 meters away from two people, one of which an omnipotent being, couldn't hear them. So there's evidence last week they doesn't make a very loud noise, and they were also beaming. He would have heard the beam in the rock, and didn't hear that either. So the evidence currently in this season is that you can't hear beam if you don't know. Yeah. Yeah, very. There he is.
I'm here. Sorry about that. I keep losing connection. Yeah, I mean. Hello? No internet. Awesome. That's always great.
Can still hear and
see. No internet, it said for a second.
It's very strange, but I can still hear you. It's going so well.
Please don't sing.
Oh, you have
Don't do that when I disappear, man. Nobody wants to hear you sing.
Everyone wants to hear me sing.
No, they don't. Telma ML puts in $5. Picard, retroactively changed the respect I had for Captain Picard. Did this also happen to you guys? Can't see him with the same eyes as before. No, it didn't to me, honestly. Every now and then I'll think ahead as to what his life has in store for him, but overall I can totally get behind Picard still in TNG. It's more Picard TNG for me, as a rule anyway. Just because there's a lot more of that Picard,
It's just sad more than anything else that they would take this great character and write him into the ground. it's just sad to see the best of Picard is 30 years ago, and they were able to write him so much worse. You know, whereas like we said, it's nice now to see every scene with Troy and Riker together because they end up together. That's nicer now. But yes, Picard is definitely worse in my opinion. They ruined his end. Data is neither here nor there. But this is the scene though when the guy's like, screw it, go down, be a religious god, give him commandments. Because if you don't give him commandments, and they're left to guess, they have to guess it, then they will absolutely have holy wars and bad things. And it's basically saying, yes, religion bad, superstition bad. And they'll say belief turns into religion, and that's bad. It's a very, very good, anti-religion scene that's just so rational and said. It's like, yep, good, well said. And Picard's, no, I will not condone this. I will not let them go back thousands of years. They've gone past the superstition nonsense. I'm not putting them back into the Dark Ages. Just saying, Earth, you're in the Dark Ages, get over it. So it's well said, Captain. You get past this stuff, guys.
Yeah, this was a great scene. And Picard's very like, I'm glad they don't have a religion, and blah, 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 blah. Yeah. It's very much showing his scientific side.
It's actually impressive as well. That stage of evolution, they got rid of religion, they didn't say religion, but superstition 1,000 years ago. It's very impressive. They were right there early. Very impressive. Then you get the scene, which is fun. Which is fun.
Is she the one moving? Mm-hmm. Is she on the upper part? Mm-hmm. It was good. And
is she taking the lead?
Again, Data's confused. He's like, what? What's that mean? Like, seriously? Riker's like, it's fine. That's a yes. That's a...
You're telling me that nobody in the entire colony of the planet that you came from, who you have the memories of the entire colonists, none of them use that. Although what I thought in this shot, boy, that bridge set looks good from the top. Look how good that looks. I mean, that could have been filmed today, Like, that isn't some 1980s film. That looks like an absolutely modern, beautiful set, beautifully lit, beautifully, you know what I mean? They really were ahead of the game in terms of filming. I mean, so much stuff at the time didn't look that good, and that's so good. And I love when they do the up angles, because the set exists. Use it. Brilliant.
So they beam her. Well, he goes to transporter room 1, and I'm glad they mentioned another transporter room. Usually it's transporter room 3. So transporter room 1, which is fine. He walks in, takes over. Doesn't want her seen as more people than just him, I guess. Beams her aboard, and she's quite shocked. He's like, "Whoa, just chill. I'm Jean-Luc Picard," and she bows and says, "No, I don't deserve your worship. Get the hell up." But how shocking for her, though. And you got to think of all these tales you've heard of, people that have seen heaven or talked to God or whatever, seeing this very different environment. And I that's what I love about this episode is the point of perspective view and putting yourself in the position of somebody like that, and then taking into account tales from the past of people that had seen God or whatever. It's quite interesting that how things can be misinterpreted. So I think it's great.
That's the entire story, and it shows that one person with the wrong idea, with enough vitriol, can make an entire pack who just want to follow believe one way, whereas they're confident this woman can do the opposite. So yeah, it's interesting, and now I'm trying to picture if I was the same situation. Especially when I found it a little bit funny when she walks out and the door's open. That's magic. I'll give them that. But she walks out and they're very bland corridors of generic silver. You know what I mean? They're not visually very interesting. They're nice, but not. She's like, the wonders. I'm thinking, it's a blank corridor. Like, of all the things.
But compared to what she sees, the rock walls and the wood.
There's less detail than in a rock face or a.
I totally disagree with you there. The bright colors, the shiny, the bright lights. You always hear these stories of the light at the end of the tunnel, these bright corridors. It's beautiful the way it's done.
I guess I just mean if she'd walked into the conference room or the engineering, said, wow, the wonders. But, you know what I mean? It's like, it's such a... Or she'd look back and see the transporter grid. Like, that's beautiful. But out of all the sets, the corridor is the least interesting set they have. That's not the one you say of the wonders. I just, of all the sets, like the engineering cord and perfect. I mean, But again, that's the perspective thing where anything is something. But yeah, this is.
Well,
I mean, this
that's
is.
that's kind of the point, though. She's so impressed by just a simple plain corridor. Can you imagine what she thinks about the rest of the shit?
No.
So,
but I mean, Patrick's acting here, and I don't know how you'd even approach this because in theory, just being a bit stern. But there's so many nice levels to this. I think he probably relished this a lot, and he feels so mature in his performance. You know, he's harnessed this character. You know, and this is very long set of scenes, but I mean they're so poignant and so smart, and it's better written than most of modern Star Trek. It's really, really well done.
Yeah, and again, these shots of the conference room, the briefing room, seeing the ceiling of the briefing room for a change,
hoping
which is
you could
great.
mention that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a blank wall.
Because remember back to season one specifically, how dark this room always was. Yeah. They finally got the lighting perfect for this room, and even here, it just looks so great. And you never see the ceiling of this room ever. This is like I think the only time.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting.
You can see the scene where they quickly put some cardboard to hold because they didn't need a ceiling, did they? They put lights there. Makes me laugh.
But no, it looks great. So she sees her world from very high up, and I never thought I'd see the other side of the clouds.
That's a lovely line. That's a nice way of saying that.
Yeah, and I love Picard's everything about Picard here. How he's trying to think of the best way to describe things, and because she says such wonders and stuff again, and he's like, well, you live in huts. Your ancestors didn't live in huts. Why is that? And what would they think if they saw you wearing these fine clothes when they had no idea how to weave clothing? I love his comparisons here. And so we used to live in caves. We used to live in huts. And then we learned how to build ships like this. So we're just like you. Well, awesome. Awesome.
Well, and like a bow,
Yeah. And they passed that knowledge on to somebody else who passed it on to the next generation who made a better bow.
It's so smartly written, and it's actually so shockingly simply said. They genuinely did break it down to the simplest level, and it's remarkable how well it works. And also her understanding it feels very natural. I do think she's a little bit too understanding. Because but
she's not understanding, which we find out later.
Yes, I agree. But it feels as if she accepts it a little bit.
Yeah.
They are so different in terms of spectrum. But I think you're right. I think she's accepting that he should be telling her things, therefore she's accepting them, but she's not really... She's listening, but not understanding.
And Tenchi 2K7 puts in $5.
Thank you.
No doubt that her people will travel the stars, because she says one day perhaps my people will also travel the stars. And he's like, I have no doubt, which is great.
Now, do you think that's a reference specifically to the Vulcans did it, you can do it, or saying you seem very intelligent, I have no doubt? What?
If you seem very intelligent, you've already vanquished the gods and stuff essentially, and superstition, and you're only in the Bronze Age.
Okay.
So that's what it's referring to.
You're ahead of the curve.
It's kind of like if humans could do it, you can, because we were fucked up.
But the way he says that is like, very interesting line delivery. And in fact, Patrick has some very quiet lines that are really like slow, considered quiet. Interesting choices. Not everyone would make those choices, and I appreciate the whatever. But then you get lightning.
Well, before the lightning, though.
Before the lightning,
I want to
no lightning.
Point out the windows. When you get close to the windows where the glass is supposed to be, it's carpet. You can see like the cut lines in some of the carpet. It still looks great, but
there is glass sometimes because you can see the reflection. But like there's a shot when she puts her hand right up to the edge where the glass could be. Oh, it's not there. But I guess with green screen be too, because normally there's just a satin sheet with stars, so you can have the glass, but it's all real. But I guess for the blue screen, you got to have no glass. So it makes sense. But yeah, it definitely looks as if there's no glass.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But then
lightning.
Then there's lightning, but it's not the season for lightning, Samuel. And then the old guy's like, "We've had storms like this before." Like, I love the old guy. Like, you're an idiot.
Well, yeah.
And then he's like, "Oh, it must mean something. The Picard is angry with us."
Yeah.
He's angry that we let Palmer escape. Will he send floods? My wife died in the floods last year.
That's where it starts to you start to see why. But yeah, he is grasping at any straw. Now, it would have been nice, again, just to kind of justify his absoluteness, if they had said later on, maybe after the Picard is back, at the end in the last scene, if he apologizes to the guy saying, "Our memory wipe changed your brain chemistry a little bit, and it made you more something
crazy."
Yeah, that would have been a nice touch. There was
paranoid.
There was a side effect that we couldn't. That would have explained this beautifully.
Or instead of removing the memories, it made him hyper focus on the recent memories, and that's why he keeps bringing them up.
Yeah. Like he keeps they're always in his head playing. No, I like that. That's good.
Yeah,
that would have been that would have been nice, but that probably would have scienced too much the bullshit religion shit. Then you couldn't relate to it as much because it's all just science reasons. Although little shout out, look how cool that fire pit is.
I know.
What a cool little prop. Just cause. That's cool. I like it. Sorry, little shout out, but yeah. Give them credit where they deserve
it. Yeah, so just goes to show you the paranoid state of like people with gods, because you never know what they want. Everything's a sign, either for the good or for the bad. You got to determine what they want. And I love how when the old guy leaves, he kind of pats Troy's shoulder, like, it's okay, we're not all crazy.
Oh, right. Yeah.
It was very subtle, and she kind of looks up like, yeah, thanks.
I didn't even notice
because
that, yeah.
I love when it's not the season for lightning, and the old guy's like, yeah, but we've had storms like this before. It's fine. I got a lot more experience. I'm a lot older than you. So,
no,
I like that.
That's a good shout out, actually. No, I like that. But yeah, all it takes is one guy with the wrong idea to force everyone else. Then you get a beautiful Stargazer close up,
and she keeps touching the model, and it's like shaking. And the whole time I'm thinking, please don't touch it. It's like when people come to my house and they start touching things without asking. It's like the director said, here, like, enjoy this model, and then the director's behind the camera going, don't break the model.
Because then we can't shoot with it for take two. Well, speaking of take two, not at all. 140 people watching, which is great. 127 likes. I want to see that hit 140. I would love to see that hit right now to match. 13 people will match the number of views. Come on, guys. I know some of you have not clicked like. So 127. Click that. Stuart?
Like button now.
Thank you.
Smash it. Beat it like it owes you money. Although that would destroy your computer, so don't do that. And only hit it once, because if you hit it twice, then it goes away.
Yes, punch that like button as a touchscreen. Oh no! I broke the monitor. 132, guys. Come on. It's going well. Click that like button.
All right, so she's like, oh, you show me such wonders, but can I ask you a favor?
Yeah.
6 Mintakans died in a flood last winter.
Yep.
Many of them were children. Would you bring them back to life? And he's like, oh my God, you didn't understand me. It's just such a setback, right? And she's like, did we anger you? Should we have killed Troy? Is there anything I can do to change your mind? And the whole time I'm thinking, you should say, just let Troy go and never talk about anything you've seen here. Goodbye. Give her back. I won't bother you unless you talk. If you talk, I'm coming after you, and I'm going to kill everyone in your family. That's what I would say. And then beam her down. So the onus is on her and this other crazy guy, and she's got to shut him up. So there you go. There's 2 crazy people. It's fine.
Also, you're slightly out of focus.
Why am I out of focus?
There we go. Yeah. God,
I'm very focused. I'm focused on my notes.
You are. Good notes. No, I don't know about you, Stuart. I genuinely felt heartbroken here. Something about it, the way he looks so disappointed. And I felt it so deep. I'm like, oh my God, yeah. Wow, really?
Yeah, and he says, I've failed to get through to you.
It's such a good performance. It really, like... Because, again, I know the episode, but I didn't remember this bit especially, how she flip-flopped. I thought she just remembered. So I was really surprised. I was like, oh, really? Wow. Because she's asking for you to... Like, from her perspective, even if she believed he wasn't a god... Well, they assume that the friend got brought back to life, so it's already been done from her perspective. And you can bloody fly in the stars. Why can't it bring someone back to life? There's no reason to assume he couldn't. So,
well, yeah, the misconception that the other guy had died and wasn't just wounded is the big thing. Because even he says later, "You brought me back to life. Why can't you do?" Right?
Yeah, I wish someone said earlier, you weren't dead, mate. You broke your leg. That's it. You had a broken leg and a concussion. It was easy. That's why it took 4 minutes. Did you wonder why you've gone for 4.5?
But he thought he was in heaven. It was one of those
Oh no,
out of body experiences, right? So.
But I wish they had said to him, it's like, dude, you didn't die. You only know, yeah. But I don't mind the first half of her saying bring him back to life because she, I think, would rightly assume he could do that. Her asking is fine, but then it devolves, and you're like, oh my god. No, I was very impressed by this little scene. And to see her, who we've set up as being smart, and she seemed to be smart, to go down those so many levels was really interesting. Really, really interesting. Yeah, I liked it.
So we get back down the planet, and we have the discussion of we must do as Picard wishes and punish those responsible.
Yeah.
So we got to punish Troy. So it kind of ramps up the stakes for her again.
But again,
and then we're back on the Enterprise.
Why is she so passive? I really didn't appreciate that.
No. But we're back on the Enterprise, and they got the old lady dying, and perfect timing, because Picard's near sick bay.
Well, yeah. I mean, she called him, and he used it. He used it.
So they'll be right there. Yeah. Walks
keep her alive. Keep her alive just long enough for me to get there.
Yeah, just keep her alive.
Jesus.
But this makes the lady realize that you're not masters of life and death.
Yep.
You are remarkable people, but you are not superior beings.
Yep.
My people must be made to see that.
Yep.
So maybe now she understands.
Because a lot of the religiousness in the world is based on the heaven idea. If there is no heaven, a lot of religion doesn't mean much. So therefore, if death means death, they're all the same. Whereas if death means go to better life is ultimate power, then it's something else. So, I get why it breaks down to just we're all just people, and people can be people with technology. But it is a bit weird, though, that they play him so strong in the scene, and then he walks away to cut totally to her in the scene. It's like, what if he turns back and looks at this random lady touching your, is it a wife? I don't know, his neck. No respect for the body necessarily. And Picard using the body, you know what I mean? It feels a bit insensitive considering the scene we just had with him like crying over her. But that's, whatever. It's about this moment, not the other moment. And again, Picard's face and his expression and mannerism is so like, please.
Yeah. Well, Beverly's like, yeah, I need you to come sign the paperwork that doesn't hold me accountable for her dying just now. So let's go. Drags him off right away.
Jeez.
Anyway, so yeah, back on the planet, we got dude with the bow pointing it at Troy. He's like, I must kill to make Picard happy.
Well, then she says some stuff.
Well, that's the problem with a deity, trying to interpret what it wants.
Or with a superstition, with a sense of what you think you know.
Well, she says a deity. But yeah. So... And he's just about to pull the arrow back, and Picard walks in.
Well, no, he calls for a sign. He says, he always doesn't, but he says, no, give me a sign. And literally Picard walks...
He's hesitant, yeah.
So he does... I appreciate that, once he commits about the wife. And then, Picard walks in. And can you imagine, though, for 1 second, he's like, God appeared! The sign is him! I did it!
What's that smell?
Almost murder. What? Almost murder worked! More almost murder will get him.
Yeah.
Boy, what a moment for that guy. I summoned God.
And he also kneels down, and Picard pulls him up right away.
Yeah.
And says, I'm a traveler from a faraway land. And she's like, and they die just like us.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, you brought me back to life. You can bring back my wife. Why won't you? Have I failed you in some way? And it's like, God damn it, guy. Figure it out.
Well,
if my death will prove it to you. Oh, well, that's a second. But yeah, he's like, even if you take my life and give her life back.
Yep. Well, that's why his arc makes sense. Like I said earlier, it all breaks down to his wife. Now he's got to talk to God. All he wants is the wife. He'll sacrifice himself. So everything's about desperation. He got a little bit of hope. That's why sometimes hope is the worst thing you can give somebody. because it can change how you are. That's why a lot of the time acceptance is the last stage of grief. Acceptance lets you move on. He obviously hasn't moved on. That's fair, you know. But it's powerful. I just wish they'd done more with that bit.
But you're right. He's so hyper focused on everything, and I like the idea that it's not explained in dialogue. But I wish it would have been that they tried to remove these memories, but instead intensified them, and that's why he's so hung up on this.
Yep. Or maybe they could have argued that it didn't just like give his short-term memories, actually enhances long-term the wife dying. So now he's seeing in his head his wife die again and again, and he's putting these two things together of unlimited power, wife dying. Like, they could have really scienced that well. And then it would have been then Picard might have felt more guilty because it was because of the Doctor that, you know, reason. And then he jumped straight away to, well, baby,
I can kill you.
Yeah.
Well, I'll prove to you that you're a god. I'll prove to everyone here that you're a god. And Picard's like, well, no. If my death will prove it to you, then shoot.
Yeah. It was a powerful moment, actually. Well, I find it comical. Like I said, I keep hearing in my voice her going, no, his name, no. And then I think a rather good stunt guy falls.
Well,
Give him credit.
I gotta say, somebody goes to stop him from shooting and bumps him. That's why the arrow goes up. Because I think he was going for the kill shot in the middle of the chest. But it ends up hitting Picard in the shoulder because somebody goes to stop him and jolts the arrow up, which I appreciate a lot, actually.
Yeah. Good stunt guy, though.
Yeah.
And good choice of guy, because I mean, you can tell in the screen capture freeze frame, his face is the same shape, but he looks very similar. Good job with stunt guy there.
Yeah. But she holds up the blood, which is red, which they might not understand because they probably have green blood.
Yeah, I found it seems odd that if he is all powerful, he can choose to look like he's dying to prove a point. You know what I mean? So it doesn't really prove much. And this is where the episode starts to fall down for me. And, he's fine. Within about 4 seconds, you get a voiceover. And it loses all of the weight of that moment, gets completely ejected into space. 100% of it. I'm like, really defeats the power of that moment. Like, Picard just got bowed in the arm.
So they would have had to beam him up in front of all those people. So now they all saw him beam up. And I guess that makes sense, though, because then the next scene where he's explaining everything, you know, we were studying you. Why would you want to study us? Because we were once like you are. Learning about you teaches us about ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we never realized, like, and they're like, why would you hide from us? Why would somebody asked, why would you hide from us? And she says, because revealing themselves would have affected us as it did you to the father, because he was super crazy. I don't know. I think it's a great explanation for they show them the duck blind. Geordi deactivates it and reactivates it. I think it's kind of neat, actually, because they're smart enough to realize what's going on, and it's contained within this group of people. So they're not necessarily going to tell anybody because they're logical, they're rational, and they're smart. So I love this, actually. And the fact that he's got a sling on, even though he probably doesn't need it. Because at that point, he's like, if I just go down with it repaired, they're going to think I'm a god. So let's put a sling on it at least. Looks like, it's kind of a small thing, but because normally they wouldn't have that. And also, this is really great, too, because this is where he gets the covering for the back of his chair that we see in the captain's quarters for the rest of the series and even in the movies. Yeah, because they hand him the thing, something to remember us by, and he's like, I'll never forget you. It's great. And I love that it carries over. But that's the thing on the back of his chair.
Nice. I mean, did you not feel that it felt a bit weird to have him be hit and then suddenly fine talking to them within seconds?
No, time has to, no, I think with the way they did it, it was fine. The shot of the ship, the voiceover, and then back to this scene, I think is fine. It didn't bother me.
I mean, it felt so bad to me personally. And if you're trying to convince them you can get hurt, and then in the editing, he's back down talking to them, not dead, within 30 seconds. It's like, it so devalues the point, the moment. You need something else there in between.
Christopher Rollins makes a good point. Would a metal heart stop an arrow? It'd be funny if the arrow actually hit his heart and tink. Oh shit, that hurt, but I'm not dead.
Oh, I'll fall now. Oh, my heart. Yeah. Yeah, but it's also, I mean, that would never have killed him. Like, it's just a shoulder wound. It's not like, I mean, Rios gets a stab in the shoulder. It's fine. I just think the ending kind of lets stuff down. Just the editing it's so rushed. It's literally 1 second until it's finished.
We have that problem a lot in all these episodes, though. They got to finish.
But I do like the end. It's a lovely end. I just needed one scene in between. Just one scene.
Yeah, we got a few super chats. Let's get to those. Fleet Paw Swiftback, $2. Great scene here. This was a few scenes ago. It was with the dying person, I think. Olivia Julius, $2. Oh, great Trekyards. I have returned. Praise Picard.
Praise Picard.
Praise Picard. He's over there. Yes. Fleet Paw Swiftback, $2. Wait, wouldn't Picard have lived to tearing him heart? Well, if he hit the heart, if he was aiming for the heart of the Vulcan people, which is down right about there, could have ruptured something else. If he missed the heart and cut through the aorta, I mean, he would have still died probably. Anyway, Eugene, 250 rubles.
Thank you.
So, Picard, rather than leave one village with verifiable tales, you've introduced the knowledge about different intelligent species and interstellar travel to Bronze Age civilization. Yeah, but I think they're smart enough to not. I don't know. That's a good question.
You know how that one guy was going to make them be religious again and kill 2 people? They're not all that smart. Clearly. And they all followed him.
Well,
the archer guy was letting him murder a person.
Yeah, but I mean, the old guy was like, "You're an idiot." She was rationalized enough to just kind of be like, "Nah, I don't know what we should do. Let's think about it."
It's a spectrum. Some were, some weren't. You never know who's going to take charge, you know?
Absolutely. SWTX Chase it off, $2. Tribe of Candor origin story. No.
Remind me that.
Absolute Candor, Picard.
Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah, this is why they tell the truth, because the great Picard and his people came down and told him the truth about the sky travelers. Yeah. So from now on, we must always tell the truth. Yes, it's a little bit too close to Picard for that to be a thing, but sure.
Yeah. But yeah, this definitely is the moral story of they broke the Prime Directive and they should be punished. There's no excuse. I mean, Picard, I mean, he can be court-martialed for that, but it wasn't his fault. He did the best he could. But does this mean they have to now send a research party to help them or something? I have no idea, because they're now fully conscious of, you know, I mean, there should repercussions. I mean, this should be absolutely
it's like, we're gonna put more anthropologists up there, so every day when people are walking by, they like lower the hologram. Hi guys. All right,
I'm a Klingon.
Hey, how you doing? Yeah, how's your family doing? Yeah, we've been monitoring them. They seem fine. Okay, good.
Have you invented cars yet? No? Okay. What's the car? Never mind. But no, seriously, like, they do everything wrong here, in a sense. You know, this shows Federation at its absolute worst in terms of competence, dealing with Prime Directive, and it's a great internal story, but it completely is broken in terms of doing their job. I mean, they failed miserably in terms of the story. Like I said, Riker not beaming away, and the anthropologist effing up, and then not warping. If they just warped the system quicker, they could have solved it before they all blew up. Everyone in the situation does wrong things, sort of. But still a good episode. It's kind of some JJ logic a little bit.
I enjoyed it. I thought it's one of my favorite episodes of TNG.
But you would agree that if broken Prime Directive, they should be punished.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Well, they shouldn't be punished. Under the circumstances, I think it was handled as well as they could.
Well, it's still a reprimand in their record.
For sure, but not. Olivia Julius, $2. Hashtag not my Riker beard. True enough. So anyway, yeah. My overall review of this, I really enjoyed this episode. Like I said, I do like the ancient astronaut theory, and that makes a lot of sense. And, you know, this is a perfect example of how things can go totally wrong with not meaning to. However, that being said, I also would have had a lot more simpler solutions to these problems if I was the captain. But anyway, yeah. So fun episode, good Picard moments for sure. Fantastically done. Piss poor Troy. Piss poor. Well, Riker's kind of fun in this episode. Doesn't really do much. But I mean, other than that, the casting for the lady that he takes with the ship was really well done. Very good dialogue in this, scripted very well. Pacing was good overall. Got a little tired of the repeated lines from the father, and just the lack of understanding that you weren't dead. I can't bring other people back to life. Even if you were dead, it was only for like a couple hours or a day. Well, whatever.
Minutes given.
No, I'm saying you can do a couple hours or a day, maybe bring somebody back. However, not somebody that was dead a year ago and is now half rotted in the ground. I could bring her back, Pet Cemetery style, if you want, but we're not going to do that because then she'd be a zombie. So, no, I think it's a fun episode. It's like I said, it's one of my favorites. It's very Star Trek to me, even though the Prime Directive thing is very questionable at the end, as far as some people think it was handled well, some people don't. So I get that, but I liked it. So anyway, for season 3 out of 10, I'm going to give this a. For season 3, it's going to get a 8 out of 10 for me. Okay. Very enjoyable. All at TNG, I think it's going to get a 7. Some very great Picard moments and stuff, like I said. So, and it shows the conundrum that Starfleet can get itself into, and why the Prime Directive needs to be a thing. Because they could have very simply just, said screw it and let's get out of here, like I would have done. And you got to think too. These kind of all Star Trek episodes make me think: what would happen if a Cardassian ship ran into this? What would happen if a Klingon ship ran into this? How would they have dealt with things differently?
Well,
and it's always
a TOS.
cluster.
I mean, we see it with the people who fighting over the Klingons. I think it's the Organian episode, but you don't know their it's a Prime Directive breach just that, whereas in the advanced versions.
ISFJ 1009, $5.
Thank you.
Costumes were nicely Renaissance. Love the TNG alien costumes. Oh yeah, they're absolutely awesome.
Yeah, they put a lot of care and attention to this show. You can tell. I mean, you can really tell.
Yeah. All right, so your.
And of course, guys, put your Super Chat scores in now, and on Super Chat scores, of course, that would be cool. This was an interesting one. I think I like it less having reviewed it properly with you. But just like Rise of Skywalker, it's still a really fun ride. I think some of this episode is like a 9.5, right? Some of it is really like measure of man quality. Some of it really isn't. And that's my conundrum here. If you just took the Picard bit with her, make it like a short Trek, 9.5. Some of the best of Trek in terms of real Trek. But yeah, there's problems. So I think I got to average out, therefore. Not, just an average I think is fairer. So I'm going to a little bit, I think 7.5 for season 2. I can't go quite as high as an 8, but I think 7.5 is still pretty high.
For season 3, you said season 2.
Yeah, thank you. All of TNG, again, there's shouldn't an overall better episode be higher in the rank than some good, some less good? So I guess I'll give it a... no, not that. No, I'll give it a 6.5. I think that's...
Okay.
So close, but take a little bit out, or just show us the good bits. So not very far. That's only 0.5 less than you for both. So for very, very similar. I just couldn't go quite as high. And actually, that's our closest scores yet. Actually, this season.
Which surprises me. I didn't think you'd like this one quite as much as me. For the issues with the Prime Directive and stuff, but
how many times do they fail in other Treks? I mean, it's not as if their failure. You see it on Picard's face. He knows he's getting tailed. He knows he's failed. He's just trying to save an awful situation, and that's why it works. Because Patrick's acting saves it for keeping it as a high score. Because he is so good in this. He is really, really good.
Well, Olivia Julius gives it 3 Captain Foley's out of 5. So there you go. We have no other super chat scores though.
Well, I'll read some of the non, and then hopefully by the end, as we get to final super chat, because we've got 7 minutes, so final super chats we can start putting in. From a glance, I see a lot of the same scores, so I think we're going to have which is nice. Most episodes don't have a unified feel, so that's kind of nice. 8 out of 10, 8 out of 10, 8 out of 10, 8 out of 10, 5 out of 10, 8.5 out of 10. By Eugene. Anthropology team is grossly unprepared. Yes, they're awful. 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 for this season, 9 out of 10 for over. Oh well, 2 9s there. Wow. 8 out of 10, 8 and 7.5, 7 to 8 out of 10. 7 out of 10, 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10, 7, 7.5, 7.5 out of 10 atheisms. So yeah, very, very good scores. I mean, that actually beat both of our scores, actually, if I was... Yeah.
Fleet Pass Swiftback, $5. 8 out of 10 for Season 3, 7.5 out of 10 for TNG. Good pre-warp species episode that showed the inflexibility of the Prime Directive. Love the Mintakan costumes and the tapestry.
Problem is, it was flexible because they broke it in every way.
Yeah.
I mean, the exact opposite.
Yeah, they had to with the circumstances they were in, though.
Could have memory wiped them all, Stuart. They didn't even try.
I know. Olivia Julius, $5. Leave us and spread the good news of Picard everywhere you go. Yes. Dan23 absolutely hates this episode. He's been saying it through the whole thing. He rates it a thumbs down.
Not sure why.
There you go. But yeah, so Olivia Julius has the last super chat so far. If you guys want to get in on the last super chat slot, please feel free to.
5-minute warning. 5-minute warning.
It will make Picard very happy. Whoever gets the last super chat slot.
The Picard will be happy. And Jeff says, I thought we were going with just TNG now, no more season scores. No, that'd be ridiculous. It was harder at the start because we didn't remember the season, but as we get, it'll be easier and easier. I think now 4 in, we've now got a sense. No, we need both, because when we did season 2, I used the overall TNG score to help. No, very, 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 very important.
Yeah, we'd never said we weren't doing this. That was just a suggestion by Jill, and no, we explained why we need to do both.
And it was just hard at the first episode. That was it.
Yeah. Olivia Julius, $2. Honor to my family.
Honor to the Julius family by the Picard.
By the last super chat slot.
That is as it currently stands, Stuart. But it might not. It's not up to us, is it? Never is. Never is.
Commander Thrib says, I'm neutral on this episode. Okay.
Really? Okay. And Tangerine Star says, O Lord, who art in orbit, Picard be thy name. That's good.
That's very well done. Fleet Pass Swiftback puts in $2. I'll win tonight. She's not here. LOL. Who's not here? Olivia? She's here.
Oh dear. 4 minutes left. 3 minutes left. Oh.
Olivia Julius, $1. See, here. It's on now. Now Olivia's got the slot.
Ready? I'll buy that last super chat slot for $1.
I'd buy that for $1.
I'd buy that for $1. Yeah. That was a good one, Stuart.
No. It was a fun one. I really enjoy this one. I always have.
Yeah.
Just. Yeah, and I like the ancient astronaut theory thing. I think it works out great. So, and it's just a perfect example of it. So, Tangerine Star 26, £1. Fleet Pass Swiftback, $1, 99 cents, but it puts 100 sticker, so that makes it $1, I guess. I don't know. So there you go. But no, I'm looking forward to doing more season 3 as there's some really good stuff. Olivia Julius, $1 gets thrown in there, so that's awesome.
Yes. Feel the
and let's see
flow
what's next. Next is the bonding. Oh, good God.
Oh, what is that? Oh, yeah, the one that I thought was the data one because his screen cap was generic white kid, looks like the other kid. I literally don't know this episode. I just don't know this one. I
don't know. This is the kid from RoboCop 2, the drug dealer kid from RoboCop 2. So that's
drug dealer kid.
Oh yeah, there's this in RoboCop 2. There's the kid that the tough guy kid who's like into the dealing the drugs.
Right.
Gotta watch RoboCop 2. And I know, we just mentioned it. I'd buy that for $1. So
I really like RoboCop 2. I think it's really good. Personally. Thought the effects were clever.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
Kid.
Drug kid. There you go.
Oh, yeah. Ha!
Tangerine Star 26 puts in £1. So every time I watch this episode, all I see is that little bastard from RoboCop 2 that you just want to kick in the head. You know, so.
All violence to the Picard for the drug kid. But then we have Booby Trap, The Enemy, The Price. So those are some pretty special ones. And we will skip the defective guys.
Booby Trap is one of my favorite all-time TNG episodes. So
yeah, that was ballsy to show RCS thrusters. I'm looking forward to see how they remaster those.
Olivia Julius, $1. Tangerine Star 26, £1. Olivia Julius, $1.
1 minute. I mean, we've got 1 minute.
Leap Swiftback, $2. The sheer fucking hubris. It's mine, damn it.
It's mine, damn it.
Oh,
1 minute.
Fucking hubris.
And actually, it's 10 seconds. 23:59.
Olivia Julius, $1.
5. Goodbye, guys. 3, 2, 1.
Olivia's got it.
Bye.